It was the fashion in the 1700s to drink and bathe in Brighton's seawater as a cure for several illnesses. Once the railways arrived, it was just a day trip from London. And for tourists, this landmark is the jewel in the crown.
The iconic Brighton Pier is popular today as it was in the late 1800s with over 4 million visitors a year. It's a typically cold summer's day in the UK, but I thought I'd head down to the beach anyway. As you can tell by the painful way that I'm walking, it's not quite like the beaches we used to back home, but maybe the water's a bit warmer.
At the edge of this shingle beach lie the frigid waters of the English Channel.
That's colder than Cape Town, much colder. But let's look at the positives here. We've got a great exfoliation on the feet. It makes a lovely sound when the pebbles go back into the ocean, and you definitely don't have to worry about sand getting everywhere, but it's not a beach day. Let's head to the pier.
As a getaway for royalty, its popularity soared, and during Queen Victoria's reign, the great age of British engineering, the piers were built.
I've definitely given up on my barefoot walk along the beach, I can tell you that much.
I don't blame you.
But this isn't the main attraction of Brighton, the pier is.
Yeah, the pier, 520 metres long nearly, built in the late 1800s. Originally used for promenading. People would walk up and down in their fine clothes and show off basically. But today I think people walk up and down in their jeans and their flip-flops eating ice cream and heading down to some of the big rides on the end of the pier.
The first of these structures was originally built as a landing stage for passenger ships sailing from across the channel. Owners realized its commercial value and began charging for entry, adding kiosks and food stalls to the experience.
It's such a lovely combination of all my favorite smells: the ocean, coffee, candy floss, donuts.
Definitely, and it all hangs in the air and the wind.
I'm just looking out there and I can see the remnants of the old West Pier.
Yeah, in fact Brighton used to have 3 piers. The Chain Pier in the early 1800s, that was over that way. The West Pier in the mid-1800s, and of course this pier, which used to be called the Palace Pier.
It's quite a solid structure, a lot of iron and wood, so maintenance must be quite a big issue here.
I think there is. I think they have divers who work year-round to make sure that the structure is kept safe. After all, it's up on stilts, so it needs to be strong and sturdy. In the winter, this is not the place to be.
Adding to its renown, the pier has featured in films dating back to the silent era. Big names have walked these boards, from Greta Garbo through to more recent leads like Johnny Depp. To all of them, the pier has been more of an eccentric co-star than a location.
We've got to give this a try. This is one of the most popular sideshow games. So
Right, okay.
Thank you. I'm a bit of a kid in case you haven't noticed. Quite light, so I'm going to have to give it a good throw. That was terrible. Sorry, I almost broke your entire stand. Oh, no, that was terrible. Sorry, I didn't win you a beer.
Yeah, at least you tried.
The simplest games still appeal, even in a high-tech world of gaming consoles.
About 3/4 of the way, nearly there, nearly made the end.
And I can see there's loads of big rides down there. I'll tell you what, you're welcome to them. I'm going to leave you. I can see you got the inner kid in you there.
You saw that, right?
Definitely.
Thanks very much.
Enjoy.
Cheers.
Another must is stopping in to gear up in old Victorian outfits to have your photo taken. Once railway transport began making a trip to the sea so accessible, new fashions were required that allowed visitors to swim without losing their famed British modesty. Jonathan felt he'd rather be accused of immodesty than go swimming in public like this. Thankfully, the pier has other attractions. Thousands of fans of author Graham Greene visit to see where, amongst all this action, the famous scene from his best-selling murder thriller Brighton Rock played out. If you prefer your thrills more literal than literary, you'd be wanting a ride aboard this machine.
Okay, welcome to the Booster, Brighton's scariest ride. It offers the best view of the pier, but that's only if you're brave enough to actually go through it and keep your eyes open during it. Buckle me up. No turning back now. I'm literally stuck. There's no turning back. Check how high it is.
Accelerating you to 3.6 Gs in 2.8 seconds, the Booster was made in Italy and resembles the way an ancient Roman catapult throws a missile. Settling 43 meters up in the air gives you a pretty decent picture of the entire town of Brighton.
Now, after all of that craziness is when you get a moment to kind of relax and enjoy the view.
You look down on some fascinating sights, like the Brighton Dome, where 40 years ago an unknown pop group called ABBA won the 1974 Eurovision Song Contest. So, this coastal town in England launched the career of a band who sold 400 million records. It also invented a sweet, which has sold even more.
No day on the pier is complete without some delicious, world-famous Brighton rock candy. Each bite a permanent reminder of just how much Brighton rocks.